What's up YouTube, it's your boy Case, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that I always wanted to learn about back after I finished my school and trying to become a truck driver. And it was very confusing, and I heard so many different stories about that topic and I didn't know what to believe. I looked up a lot of things, but I didn't really know much about this topic. Today's topic is going to be about the trainers, the truck driver trainers. And it started with my story. Like, I graduated, I finished school, I got my license and everything, and I was off going for this current carrier that I worked for, and finished my orientation. I remember it took about 3 days. And I remember they asked me a few questions like, do you mind if your trainer is a smoker? Do you mind if your trainer has a dog or a pet or whatever? They ask you those few questions, and to me, I just wanted to get behind the wheel ASAP so I can start making money. So I didn't really have any specifications about it, so I just went with whatever they had. Within like about 3-4 days, 3-4 days, I remember they're like, your trainer is about to get here, and you're gonna start, like, you start riding with him. And I remember asking a few questions back when I was in school. They were asking me, like, I asked about, like, what's up with the trainer. I heard a lot of people say they're gonna be an asshole. Some of them say like they're not helping. I didn't really understand what's the deal with those people. So I remember I was signed up. So we started, like, it was on a Thursday or a Monday. A beginning, I think it was a beginning of a week. So here's this this older guy, and I met him, we met, and then I got my stuff, and I was allowed to bring the stuff. One of the first things, how much stuff should you be able to bring? What they're gonna give you, the top bunk, which if you can fit yourself and your stuff in that luggage, whatever you can bring, you can simply find. Because you have the top shelf, you can basically just lay there. What I did, I brought a bunch of stuff with me, and I just pushed them against the wall. So luggage, clothing, it wasn't a problem. I didn't understand exactly. The first thing, you can bring like a luggage, as long as you're not taking up more than the top. The second thing, the procedure does not the exact when it comes to all companies. Each company, they have their own form. It's a lot of different from one company to another. But and my company was the start off was like, I have a 1 day where I just basically watch my trainer do his job, like driving and back and all these things. My biggest problem was with backing back then. The first day, and I start to see the problem when they say a truck driving is more of a lifestyle than it is a job. Yeah, the driving part, it wasn't a big deal, and the problem is, what do you do when you're not driving? So I remember we watched the first day was pretty easy. He start to explain a few things about the Jake brake, things like that. He asked me a few things about the signs, nothing big deal. I remember the next day, I started driving, and we were heading to Denver, Colorado, and we're taking this US highway, and I started driving. The one thing I didn't understand, whatever they tell you when it comes to safety is just a suggestion. Take it with a grain of salt. I understand sometimes I remember he was getting really frustrated and angry whenever I drive below the speed limit, which I tend to do all the time, most of the time. He used to get really angry if I go below 55 because I'm not comfortable. It's like, no, the truck can go 55. If it says 55, you should go 55. I wish I know this, but if you don't feel comfortable with whatever instruction he's given you, by all means, you can explain things to him like, look, I don't feel comfortable going this fast. I can go, and you can drive absolutely any speed you want. And the one thing I didn't know back then, if he is a stubborn and tells you whatever, like, oh, you impede in traffic or whatever, you can simply call safety. For all carriers, they have a safety department. Just explain your situation. He is not going to be happy for that. And worst case scenario, just replace him. This number one thing I was just kind of blindly following. Didn't know I was thinking like, he is the instructor, whatever he tells you, it goes. No, it doesn't. If you don't feel, I remember at one point he told me, look, I assume that you know how to drive. My job is to make sure that you understand how to pre-plan, pre-trip, and how to follow the map and the atlas, and how to use the Qualcomm. That's my job. You already know how to drive. That's the first thing. I was struggling all the way till I was soloed out. It was that he always pushes me to speed up. Always cautious, kind of trying to slow down, especially in the two-way highways, man. I haven't even gotten enough experience with him in my vehicle, my personal car, than in a semi. Holy moly. The next thing, you have to ask for a shower. And a lot of times they trying to save, they got their points or whatever. I didn't understand. I was thinking the shower thing was something that the company pays for, the driver pays for. I didn't really understand the whole dynamic of what's going on with the shower. And I remember it took the guy like about 3-4 days before he offered to give a shower. So here's the thing you can do: ask for it. Simple as that. I was thinking like it might charge them money, and I didn't want to be bothering, and I thought like that costs. No, it goes by the points and how many points you get. Usually, typically, Pilot, for example, is the most popular one. It's about 25. If you put about 25 gallons in your truck, I think it's between 25 to 50 gallons. The truck takes about trailer, reefer, and tractor takes close to 300 gallons. So you should have multiple showers in your cart. So it's not a big deal, but you have to ask for it at least once every 2 days. The third thing I also let it slip by and didn't pay attention closely to is that the trainer has his food. He's got his refrigerator over here. He wakes up, he got his bacon out, he gets his eggs and all that, and he's cooking, drinking his coffee while I'm starving myself to death driving. Well, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I did not know the rule. I was thinking you have to work your ass off because I'm coming from a different job. I'm thinking if you don't drive, you don't get paid. I don't understand. I didn't understand back then. We're dealing with a different caliber of job. This is a different line of job. The way you get paid is different. Like even like back then, if you have a normal job, making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, that's a lot of money. So I'm thinking you gotta work, you gotta deserve that money, and I got all that crap in my head, and I was thinking. So I wake up, just drive. I don't have food. My food, literally have to go to Pilot if they have a McDonald's, whatever. And he was just taking the advantage of it. He was taking the advantage as far as he could. And the reason why, you have to understand something about those trainers. And a lot of companies, they pay them cents per mile. Like for example, this carrier, they pay trainers 55 cents per mile if a trainer is driving behind the wheel. So that's why he was trying to push me as far as possible. Like I hit, and imagine this is the first week with my trainer, I hit about 3,200 first week with my trainer. Yeah, it was like literally I was driving to death. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy driving, but I did not know that I could do these things that I'm sharing with you. That's why I'm sharing these things. So you have to understand, it's a good community. So what I can sum up from all that is a good communication is a huge key when it comes to dealing with your trainer. You don't like how he's talking to you, you don't like the music that he's playing, by all means you can agree upon something mutual between you guys. Eat healthy. If you prefer to eat taco, Subway, or whatever food of choice that you like, by all means you can talk to him and communicate that to your trainer. Tell him, hey, I cannot just stop at this Pilot. They don't have my kind of food. I gotta stop at TA or Petrol, whatever. That's absolutely your right, and you can absolutely do this with no problem. Do not try to drive or overdrive your ability. Yes, if you're coming from, like I've always been driving. I did Uber for a very long time. So if you start to feel tired or you start to feel overwhelmed, just stop. Just stop. Tell your trainer, look, I'm tired. I can't do it. I can't drive anymore for today. And the last point that I want to say, trainers are not gonna teach you anything that you don't ask them to. That's what I learned this the hard way. Like for example, I always struggled with back. My back end was always not the best, and I was driving about 10 hours a day. By the end of the day, I'm dead. I'm tired. I'm ready to hit the pillow. So by the end of my training period, I didn't know any better about backing. Yeah, you kind of wave at me. It's like, do this, turn the steering wheel this way, that way. But again, the reason why they do this is because they're trying to get the money. They're trying to push you as much as possible. Sometimes not always for your benefit. So just be aware and try to take advantage as much as possible and use this valuable experience that they have, and trying to get that, transfer that to you and use it down the road. And that's my point, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next video.